Hey, what's up YouTube? Free Channels Investing back with another video, and today we're talking about Tesla and how they're faring against our US EV automakers such as Ford and GM. We'll talk about how they're performing against those two competitors, because those are the two largest competitors in America. If you haven't done so yet, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And please don't forget to leave your likes and your comments down below. All right, with all that said, let's get started. So first, I wanted to congratulate Tesla on their record number of deliveries. This is a look at their Q4 of 2020 when they delivered 180,000 vehicles. And for the complete year of 2020, they delivered 499,550 vehicles. There's a night and day difference between 2020 and 2021. We see that in Q4 of 2021, 308,600 vehicles were delivered for the quarter, and for the year, 936,172 vehicles were delivered. So comparing quarter to quarter, we have a 70% increase, and comparing year to year, there is a 87% increase in the number of deliveries, which is simply amazing on Tesla's part. So Tesla did an amazing job of exceeding Wall Street's expectations. They beat Bloomberg's estimates by 13.8%, FactSet's consensus by 13.5%, and RBC Capital Markets by 7.6%. So even in the face of adversity, Tesla continues to blow away Wall Street, and they're rapidly underestimating them. I think it's amazing how Tesla was able to overcome semiconductor shortages, and they wrote earlier in their shareholders letter, in Q1, we were able to navigate through global chip supply shortage issues in part by pivoting extremely quickly to new microcontrollers while simultaneously developing firmware for new chips made by our new suppliers. In this Market Watch article, it says that semiconductor executives and consultants at Tesla, as a still relatively young car company, had the advantage of designing its vehicles from the ground up, rather than adding parts in a piecemeal fashion over decades, as many legacy automakers have done, aka taking shots at Ford and GM on that one. That allowed Tesla to consolidate systems, some of them said. There's also another advantage that Tesla continued to order chips through the pandemic, as many legacy automakers stopped ordering those chips. So that way, when those chips became available from Ford and GM not ordering them, they became available to Tesla, who will still have their orders for chips in. Tesla already had astounding growth in 2021, and there's going to be two new factories in Berlin and Austin, respectively. They're supposed to have production capacity of around 500,000 vehicles each, so I'm looking forward to see what they can do. Hopefully, they'll open in the next couple weeks, and we'll be able to hear the announcements of the openings in the Q4 Tesla earnings report on January the 26th, later on this month. Hopefully, Tesla will be able to unveil 3 new products this year, starting with their Cybertruck. It's supposed to come in 3 different configurations: a single motor rear-wheel drive with 250 miles of range, a top speed of 110 miles per hour, and a starting price of $39,900. Then there's going to be a dual motor all-wheel drive with 300 miles of range, a top speed of 120 miles per hour, and a starting price of $49,900. And then there's going to be a tri-motor all-wheel drive with 500 plus miles of range, a top speed of 130 miles per hour, and a starting price of $69,900. Now, I think these prices are going to be higher with inflation, but hopefully there'll finally be a release of the Cybertruck. Next up is the Tesla Semi. Right now, it's going to cost $20,000 to put down for the reservation, and it will be $150,000 for the 300-mile range Semi and $180,000 for the 500-mile range. Now, the first 1,000 Tesla Semis will be called the Founders Edition, and they will cost $200,000 each. Normally, a Class 8 semi-truck costs $120,000 brand new. This is considerably lower than that cost of the Tesla Semi. However, Tesla is predicting a $200,000 cost savings over 1 million miles of the drivetrain of the truck. And their operational costs are also lower. Tesla is predicting $1.26 per mile versus $1.51 of the conventional semi-truck. Last but not least is the Tesla Roadster, which was announced in 2017 along with the Tesla Semi. This was supposed to be released last year. However, there have been many production delays. There's been semiconductor shortages, all sorts of things happening. So hopefully it will come out this year or early next year. I wish Tesla would be more forthcoming about it and make more announcements. Anyway, this car is supposed to have a 1.9 second 0 to 60 time, which is just a little bit faster than the 1.99 seconds achieved by the Tesla Model S Plaid. It's supposed to have a top speed of over 250 miles per hour, and it will cost $200,000. Now, once again, the first 1,000 will be called the Founders Edition. They'll have a special plaque that will come with it, and it'll cost $250,000. It should also come with a 200 kilowatt hour battery and 620 miles of range. Very excited for this vehicle. Very sleek looking. I hope it can come out one day. Next up, we'll talk about some of Tesla's competition. I think their main competitor right now is the Ford Mach E. Now, I do think that Ford has made a compelling, great-looking, sleek vehicle for the modern times. I know a couple people at work that have the Ford Mach E and have taken drives in it, and I think it's a beautifully made vehicle. Now, looking at some of their stats, the vehicle starts at $43,895 for the Select version, which is basically your base model. Next up, you can get the Premium, $49,100 starting. Next up from that is the California Route 1 edition, starting at $52,775, and then the GT version, which is like your top-of-the-line product, for $61,995. Now, looking at their sales figures for 2021, Ford sold 27,140 Mach E's. Now, for Ford as a brand, they sold 1.9 million vehicles, which was a 6.8% reduction compared to the year 2020. So they're falling from that regard. And the 27,140 Mach E sold only represented 1.4% of Ford's total sales. So they have a lot of growing and catching up to do if they want to match up with Tesla. Now, looking at their Supercharger network, Tesla's Supercharger network has over 30,000 stalls worldwide compared to Ford, where you have to use Electrify America, and there's only 3,500 chargers in the US. So almost a 10x compared to the Electrify America. So when you compare the Mach E to the Model Y has around a 15 to 20% greater capacity when it comes to the battery. So in summation, Ford has a lot of catching up to do if they want to catch up to Tesla. However, they're showing a lot of promise. Hopefully they can increase their deliveries and become a true competitor to Tesla in the future. Next up is the Ford F-150 Lightning. Now, when you compare this to the Cybertruck, I think that the Ford Lightning wins in looks hands down, but that's just my personal opinion. Don't get offended, Tesla fanboys. Now, looking at some of the specs for the F-150, we're looking at the Pro, which is going to start at $39,974. The XLT will begin at $52,974 for the standard range battery. If you want to put in the extended range battery, it jumps up to $72,474. The Lariat will start at $67,414 for the standard range, and for the extended range, it jumps up to $77,474. And finally, the Platinum Edition will start at $90,874. Now, talking about the batteries, the standard range battery will get you around 230 miles of range, and the extended range battery will get you up to 300 miles of range. Now, if you're using an 80 kilowatt charger, it will take up to 8 hours to charge this particular battery. Looking at the power, the standard range battery is supposed to have 426 horsepower, while the extended range battery is going to have 563 horsepower. Looking at Ford sales figures, Ford did sell 726,000 vehicles in the year 2021. This was an 8% drop from the year 2020. So Ford is ahead of Tesla when it comes to the truck releases. Hopefully, Tesla can get their act together and release the Cybertruck, because if they don't, then Ford is going to eat up a lot of market share and can get adapted a lot quicker to the more traditional looking trucks that are on the road today. So I congratulate Ford on a great looking truck, and we'll hopefully be able to see what they'll be able to do this particular year. Next, we'll take a look at an interview done by Ford CEO with CNBC.
And leaning into these connected electric vehicles.
So as you pick up, how do you manage the danger of getting, if I can put it this way, out over your skis? I mean, I know that the Mustang Mach E you've had to triple production of. You've got the F-150 Lightning, you're limited at 200,000 orders, and I'm not sure you have the capacity to make that number of vehicles.
Well, you know, if you look at what we did during COVID and, you know, Willow Run, I mean, Ford knows how to make complicated things in high volume. So once the company makes up its mind to be number two, we'll figure out how to double capacity of Lightning at the Rouge and build more Mach E's. So it was just a moment where the leadership team had to make that commitment. We're a very scrappy company when it comes to scaling our manufacturing. This is what we do for 118 years. So we're in the middle of it. It's hard to handicap how it'll come out, but we're committed to getting to about 600,000 units running rate in 24 months. So I was at the Rouge yesterday. We got our arms rolled up, and we're really putting plans in place to double capacity.
So your friendly rivalry, at least on Twitter, with Mr. Elon Musk. I saw that you congratulated him. You were very gracious to congratulate him for being named Times Man of the Year, even though you got Motor Trend Man of the Year. And you said you really set an example for us. Can you catch up and beat Tesla?
Well, the first inning of this 9-inning game is for us to get to 600,000. We think that'll put us in number two. And then with Tennessee and Kentucky, we really have a chance to get to number one. It'll depend on the acceptance of those models. That's a couple years away. So it really is on us to execute the products, for them to be received as our first three have, and then to scale. A lot of uncertainty, but I wouldn't bet against the Ford team. I really admire Tesla and Elon for what they've done. And it's clearly showed that an always-on relationship with the customer is where this industry is going. Not just propulsion going electric, but actually having a digital relationship with the customer. And I'm very thankful for that. But we're competitors, and I race, and second is the first loser. So we're gonna go for it, and but we'll see how it goes. It'll be a couple of years away.
Yeah, for those of you who haven't seen, you should see some of the photos of Jim Farley behind some of those vintage race cars. You do genuinely.
So next we'll talk about GM and their plans for 2023 and 2024, starting with the Hummer EV. Now the Hummer was originally killed in 2010 by GM because of lagging sales. At the top of their peak, they were selling around 1,200 to 1,300 vehicles per year, according to my research. So the Hummer EV2 is supposed to start at $80,000. The EV2X is supposed to start at $90,000. Now these will be released in 2023 or 2024. The EV3X is supposed to sell for $100,000, and that will be coming later on this fall. The Edition 1 will also be coming this fall, and it will be $112,595, and it will come with 3 motors and 1,000 horsepower. Now, apparently, there's supposed to be 350 miles of range, and you can charge the vehicle 100 miles in 10 minutes. As you charge the vehicle more, the speed should slow down a little bit. So next up is the Silverado EV, which is going to have over 1,300 pounds of payload capacity and over 10,000 pounds of towing capacity. This is going to start with their WT or work truck model at $42,000, and this is going to have 510 horsepower, and this will be one of the first editions released. Next up is the LT edition at $50,000, the LTZ edition at $75,000, the Trail Boss edition at $85,000, the High Country at $90,000, and finally the top of the line RST at $107,000. This is going to have 664 horsepower and it's supposed to be released in the summer of 2024. Now the Trail Boss and the WT are going to be the first models released. I think this is a great looking truck. I think it looks a lot better than the Cybertruck, but it's going to be wait to be seen how it's going to perform. Last up is the Lyric. We really don't have that much information, even though this is supposed to come out the soonest. It's actually supposed to come out in the next few months, in the spring of this year. It's supposed to have 340 horsepower and 100 kilowatt hour battery and 300 miles of range. And it's also supposed to start at $60,000. So General Motors is not just facing pressure from Tesla, it's actually facing pressure from other automakers such as Toyota. Toyota actually outsold General Motors this year. According to a Reuters report, Toyota sold 2,332,000 vehicles, while GM sold 2,218,000. And this was the first time that the Detroit automaker has not led U.S. auto sales for a full year since 1931. GM sales were also down for 2021. They were down 13%, and they were actually down a staggering 43% for the fourth quarter. So General Motors has a lot of work to do for their gas-powered vehicles, so I think they're going to be facing an uphill climb with their electric vehicles since Tesla is so far ahead. And the only vehicle that General Motors has out now that's an electric vehicle is actually the Chevy Bolt, and they've been recalled because they've been catching on fire. So GM is a total loser, and I don't think that their CEO wants to admit that. So for the year 2021, GM actually sold 24,803 Chevy Bolts, which was already more than they sold in 2020. And this was despite the lack of eligibility for the $7,500 federal tax credit. So as you can see, the Chevy Bolt's on fire here. They had to have a recall and halt production, although they did resume production in September. I don't have any sales figures for what they did for the fourth quarter, but we do see that the sales are down a staggering 43%. So GM has their work cut out for them. I feel really sorry for them. So next up, you'll hear some comments about the CEO, Mary Barra, as she spoke to CNBC and what she thinks about the competition that she's receiving from Tesla.
Because of the Ultium platform and the way it's designed. So, of course, we're going to be looking for ways to accelerate because we see the strong interest in our electric vehicles, but we're always going to put quality first.
Mary, when we talked with you, a couple of weeks ago at Investor Day, one of the goals that you guys stated emphatically was you will be the market leader in EVs. But right now, Tesla's at 63% market share. By 2025, some believe that you can catch Tesla. You guys are at, 9-10% right now in the U.S. Do you think that you can catch Tesla by 2025?
Absolutely, Phil. When we look at the portfolio we have, not only the Hummer and the Lyriq, but Mark Royce talked about that we're going to have a Equinox-like size product that's going to be at around $30,000. We have the Silverado E coming, a GMC product after that. And again, all the other products that we haven't announced yet, I am very comfortable because when people get into these vehicles, they are just wowed. So we will be rolling them out, and we're going to just keep working until we have #1 market share in EVs.
So I'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think about Tesla and their future and their growth? And also, what do you think about GM and then Ford? I think that Ford is definitely faring a lot better than GM is as far as their EV sales right now. There has been a little bit of adoption for the Mach E, and they did have 27,000 sales, which did outpace the Bolt's EV sales. I think it also looks better than the Chevy Bolt too, and it hasn't been catching on fire so far. I do think that Ford and GM are going to lose in the end though eventually because they have to kill off their original gas-powered vehicles, which is going to hurt their sales, and it's going to take a lot of adoption and a lot of charging infrastructure from their parts, from Electrify America, from other kinds of electric vendors in order to get a lot more adoption. There's simply not enough charging stalls right now, and their charging networks is not as large as Tesla's to be able to accommodate all the charging that needs to be done. I think Tesla also has to grow from that perspective too. Where I live, there are not too many superchargers, so hopefully that will increase in the future. And then there's not a lot of mass market appeal like there is for the Model 3 and also the Model Y, which has been increasing exponentially in their sales compared to other EVs that are going to be coming from GM, such as the Hummer EV, which wasn't never really a high-selling EV in the first place, and also the Cadillac Lyriq. The Cadillac is a dying brand right now, so I don't really see them making much of an impact as of this moment. I do think one area in which Ford is surpassing Tesla is with their F-150 Lightning. They're supposed to be coming out the F-150 Lightning this spring, and then Tesla has not released their release date for the Cybertruck, which is supposed to be later on this year, possibly next year into 2023. Hopefully they're not too late to the party, and then hopefully once they release, they'll be able to catch up to the sales of the F-150 Lightning, depending on how people adopt that so far. And then we all know that because the F-150 Lightning is brand new, they're probably going to be selling more of their gas counterparts first, and then have a little bit of chunk of sales from their EV. It's yet to be seen. I like the look of the F-150, and if I had unlimited funds, I would consider buying the F-150 Lightning because of its utilitarian purposes, everything I can use it for, and also the aesthetic look of it. I prefer that much greater than I prefer that of the Cybertruck. So like I said, I would love to hear your thoughts. Please don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel. Hopefully you're able to learn something today about the future of EVs. I think that Tesla is still the clear-cut leader and will continue to be in the future. Hopefully they can increase their sales another at least 50% for the upcoming year to over 1.5 million vehicles and continue to grow from there. This has been Fritz Jones Investing with another update. I hope you liked the video and enjoyed it and learned something. I'll catch you next time. Peace out.